Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Tournament Talk. We are looking at tournament rosters for all of the teams that have been spoiled in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook. Every tournament is different, the size is different, and the skills are different. So what we're doing is we put together some rosters for 1.1 and 1.2 million. The whole idea of that is that you'll kind of get an idea of what you can face against in tournaments of similar size, and what you can take if you're going to one of those tournaments when the world reopens. You can then kind of juggle around the cost, add 50, take 50, and get a good idea of some things you can run. It's very exciting. Skills-wise, we're just going to touch on some of the key skills because if tournament sizes vary, tournament skill sets vary even more. So we'll just pick on some really good ones or just some opportunity ones. Anyway, onwards and upwards to Halfling tournament rosters. And first up, we have got the classic build. So 1100 or 1080, you get Deep Root Strong Branch, the biggest tree of all time, 2 Treemen, and then I've gone a little bit crazy with the build here. So you get 11 Halflings, a Master Chef. The Master Chef is ubiquitous. You've got to take the Master Chef. 1 reroll. Okay, so each half, you're going to have between 1 and 4 rerolls with that Master Chef. You're going to average out 2 on one half and 3 on the other, but the impact is on taking those rerolls away from your opponent. So positional wise, I've gone with 1 Hefty and 2 Catchers. Catchers are fantastic. They're 55k, they're the same stats as Halflings, but they come with some extra skills. I don't want to give you the wrong information. Here we go. So catchers are 55k, 5-2, 3+, 5+, so actually slightly worse passing than a standard halfling. Armor 7+, catch, dodge, right stuff, sprint and stunty. So for that 25k you get catch and sprint. So it's basically a movement 6 halfling. What could go wrong? So the catches, because you've got a little bit of cash, you can drop both catches and take a 3rd halfling as well. Instead, I'd rather take 2 catchers than 3 regular halflings. They get that sprint and they get that catch. Now the halfling team, its main game plan is realistically the throw teammate or the kind of run game. Okay, and the sprinting catchers give you the best opportunity. The great thing about them is you get that catch for the handoff. So if you're going to go for the 1-turn touchdown, you want to use any other halfling as the ball carrier. Hand off to the catcher, you get a reroll to keep the ball, and that is going to be so useful because you want to use these rerolls for the actual throwing attempt. So I've gone with 1 Hefty. Now the Hefty's not had a lot of love. It's got better in this edition, I think. 50k, 5-2, 3+, passing, and 8+ armor. Dodge, fend, and stunty. So this bad boy cannot be thrown. Unfortunately, Ian tried that in our game when I played Skaven against Halflings. We realised that he was trying to throw a Hefty, and it was gutting, absolutely gutting. So do not try to throw it. But this guy has agility and passing. Now the reason I like that is because you kind of got 2 skills that I think just make your team better at this point. You can drop the Hefty and take 2 halflings instead, essentially. That's no problem at all. You can drop the Hefty and take an apothecary to keep your tree alive. I don't know if you do that with your catcher. 2 skills. 1, you can go with leader, agility passing. So leader on a regular. That will boost this up to 2 rerolls and just make your team work a lot better. That's not a bad strategy, but if you're happy to lean on the Master Chef, you're going to have probably enough rerolls to do stuff with anyway. The second skill that I really like the look of is on the ball. So halflings are movement 5, which is not fast in anyone's book. On the ball gets you 3 free squares after the kickoff. So use the Hefty in the backfield. Get those 3 free squares. He is then in a much better position to grab the ball and waddle over and pitch it to a catcher. That's 3 squares. That's going to make that handoff for the throw teammate so much more reliable. I really like that pickup, and realistically it only costs you 20k. I mean, how many halflings did we say you had? You had 11 halflings and 3 treemen, so you've got 3 on the bench. Like I said, you can drop the Hefty and take 2 halflings, taking you up to 14 players instead. And then you could use a double to get on the ball. So there's some stuff you can do there. So skills wise across the rest of the team, you're going to be tier 3, so you're going to get some skills. So Treeman, if you can spend a double on block, do so. Strength 6 block is just tasty for offense and for defense, because you do not want your Treemen to go down, because movement 2, not guaranteed that they're getting up again. On the other hand, if you want to make sure your Treeman gets up again, you can spend a double and give it jump up. I've seen this done and it works. Your opponent will not expect it, so your Treeman jumps up and he's good to go. You can also go with sprint. Now we use this in 7s quite a lot, because 2 Treemen blitzing with sprint actually does a lot of work. There's a lot of squares for a strength 6 player. Brawler on a regular though, however, will also just give your Treeman a solid punching ability. Let me just check the Treeman can actually take agility. It can. It can also take passing, so you could go for nerves of steel just to ignore all tackle zones if you're going to go for the throw. So that's the Treeman. We've spoken about the hefty, the catchers, sure feet to keep that sprint working, and break tackle, which I love, on a double to give this guy a 2+ dodge anywhere run. We talked about this. You kind of got a strategy here where you want to throw a guy. If your opponent's playing good Blood Bowl, they're going to have tackle zones everywhere. 2+ with a reroll is going to give you the best opportunity that there is to make your plan work. So break tackle on a double for the catcher. I like that. That means you keep your rerolls for actually failing the go for it. Then you got 8 halflings. So kick is not bad for halflings. You can drop it close and just envelop them with your trees and use stunty dodges to get on the ball, because a stunty dodge is a good thing. Sneaky get gives you basically a running foul, which you've got the numbers for, and fouling people is a good thing because your trees are going to be knocking them down. Jump up, dirty player, so dirty player on a double to make that fouling even better. And jump up. So there is a strategy here for jump up. So you've got throw teammate, which is great for scoring touchdowns. On defense, you can use throw teammate to chuck a dude onto your opponent's side of the pitch. If you can stack skills, jump up, wrestle, jump up, strip ball, actually gives you a jump up dauntless. These things, if you can stack it, gives you a really good opportunity at chucking a halfling down the pitch. Wherever it lands, it's going to be a nuisance in the backfield. If you can get 1 or 2 halflings anywhere near the ball carrier, the pressure is on. Because yes, a 2-die up blitz is not a great thing. It is with wrestle though. And jump up means you getting all 5 of those squares. So actually you've got a really big window, or a really big area of effect for a sneaky throw teammate halfling blitz in the backfield. Don't underestimate that, because you can pile on and you can win by a significant window here with halflings. It's all about taking reckless risks, and using skill combos like that are going to make these little guys glass cannony, but a cannon to the face still does some damage. So the really cool thing is that Griff Oberwald can play for halflings, and he is exactly the same price as Deeproot. Same roster as before, but instead of taking your 3rd tree, who is, to be fair, a very good tree, good Deeproot, Griff Oberwald is going to give you an additional angle to score. I say additional, you don't really have much of an angle to score anyway, but Griff is going to do great things for your team. This becomes kind of like the Griff show with a whole bunch of throw teammate shenanigans as well. So Griff is movement 7, strength 4, agility 2+, passing 3+, armor 9+, block, dodge, fend, loner 3+, sprint sure feet, and once per game he gets to essentially auto pro a roll. For 1080, so this team is cheap, and you get a full halfling team supported by genuinely one of the best star players in the game. So I think this build is actually going to be quite popular as we move forward. It's great having a 3rd tree to do tree man things, but you got 2 treemen and a whole bunch of halflings to do the halfling thing with. Why not also take one of the best star players in the game? Movement 7, strength 4, he is going to be able to do everything. Agility 2+, blodge, fend for the lols, just to keep your hefty feeling pretty good, and sprint sure feet, so he's essentially movement 10. Griff, 2 trees and a bunch of halflings. Sounds like a great sitcom, and I think it's going to work out really well on the pitch at 1100. Or, you know, if you fancied it, you could take the biggest, baddest star player known to man, except Bob Bifford, but he's not in this edition. Morg and Thorg can be taken. So I've got the graphic wrong here. Please ignore that. That says Griff Overworld actually says Morg and Thorg. So you do have to drop the hefty here. You still get 2 treemen, 2 catchers, 8 halflings, Master Chef reroll, same as before. You've lost the hefty, but you've got Morg. And Morg is insane. Okay, he will not win you the game in the same way as Griff will. Okay, doesn't have the agility for it, but he's not bad at all. Movement 6, strength 6. So this is just insane. Agility 3+, passing 4+, which is going to be very useful for throw teammate. Armor 11+, block loner 4+, mighty blow +2. To be fair, deep root has +2 mighty blow as well. Thick skull and throw teammate. And once per game, if Morg fails the passing ability test when making a pass action or throw teammate action, you may re-roll the d6. So if you go for the throw teammate option with Morg and Thorg, once per game he's going to be re-rolling that 4+ pass anyway. Plus you get an agility 3. You give Morg the ball. Like, do not worry about it. Like, give Morg the ball. He's going to crump his way for touchdowns. And again, I'm going to highlight that that is 1100. So if you play in a 1200 tournament, you've got the option to fandangle more stuff in, whether it's more rerolls, more players, or more stars. And talking of more stars, we've got more stars. And it is the Grak build. Again, I forgot to change Griff Overworld there, so ignore that. So Grak and Crumbleberry comes in at 1080. That's fantastic. Right, so 2 treemen, 1 hefty, 2 catchers, 9 halflings. So you get an even bigger bench, Master Chef and reroll. How many players does that bring you to? 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 players. So you get 16 players. I know I talk about Grak and Crumbleberry all the time. They're great guys. And the reason they're great guys is because Grak gives you kick teammate. If you've ever played halflings or ogres and you've wanted to go for the throw teammate, sometimes your little movement 5 guys cannot get the ball there. In this roster, you've got a hefty who's got a 3+ quick pass. This is not guaranteed, this is not great, but you've got catchers who can catch the ball. If you've got Grak, you can make a pass action if you can't get the movement. I have several times gone for the winning play to realise that I need to pass the ball and then pass the player. Personally, I think throw teammate should be not considered a pass action, but kick teammate definitely isn't. So you've got 2 angles of attack here. One, you can kick if you've already thrown. That is winning in my book. But secondly, and this is the most fun, you've got 16 players on this team. 3 of them are big guys, 1 of them is a hefty. 12 of them can be thrown and kicked. So if you've got a solid defense rolling up on you, okay, this is Nurgle, this is Dwarves, this is some team you do not want to face. You've got some very solid blitzers. Grak is an ogre, okay, movement 5, strength 5, that is tasty. But on top of that, you can just throw and kick a dude at the cage, alright? It knocks over multiple people now. You could realistically kick a halfling at the cage, use a tree to throw a halfling at the cage, and then just run in and sweep up the ball with any one of your little dudes. This roster versus the Griff one is really interesting. This becomes an absolute throwing machine roster. Griff becomes a scoring roster. And additionally, you get a halfling who comes with sure hands. So your sure hands piece is already there. So it gives you that option. You've got possibly OTB, or maybe you just take leader on the hefty. You can do a lot of stuff here. You've got a full bench. You've got rerolls. You've got throw teammate. You've got kick teammate. This roster is going to be insanely fun. But we did say there is the potential to take multiple star players. So we thought we'd look at how much, just to see how much we can ram into 1200. It's pretty good, guys. So 1185, you can take Griff Oberwald and Karla von Kill, who are 2 of the most agile, kind of versatile star players you can get for halflings, as well as 2 treemen, 8 halflings, and a catcher. So it's only a 13-man roster, but you still get 2 trees and a bunch of wee people, along with Griff and Karla. I don't think I need to say much more about this roster, except that there are going to be some old school players who love multiple star players that are going to be up for it. I prefer the Grak and Crumbleberry one because you're still playing halflings, but this situation you're basically just playing Griff and Karla with a bunch of other stuff. So that wraps up for halfling rosters. I got really excited because I thought you could fit Grak and Griff in the same roster, but Grak and Crumbleberry are 2-star players, so it can't be done. Which means that this is the most star player heavy roster I could put together. So you've also got Helmet Wolf and Rumbelow Sheepskin 170 that you can fit into these builds quite easily. So it gives you a lot of versatility where it gives you so many pieces. It's not quite as versatile as the Underworld team, but Halflings are looking really fun in Blood Bowl 2020. They've done a really good job with the star players to just be able to switch up your team a little bit, and I think it's fantastic. It's going to give you a lot of variety in gameplay, and if I sit down to play against the Griff Karla roster, I actually know I'm in for a tough game, regardless of what team I'm playing with, and that makes it a little bit more balanced. Now, it's going to be swingy and it's going to be carnage, and your Master Chef is going to do a great job one half and garbage the second, but I got two of the best star players in the game to compete with, backed up by treemen who are not bad, and some halflings. It's going to be really interesting. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up for this video. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of these rosters, and let me know if I've missed any really good ones out. And we'll be back again soon for some more tournament rosters. Thanks for watching.